Yeah, hi.
Please turn on your video.
Yeah, sure. Are you able to see me?
Yeah, yes. Are you attending from mobile?
Hello?
Are you attending from mobile?
No, no, it's laptop one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Are you from which location?
Andhra. Andhra
Andhra
Pradesh.
Pradesh.
Yeah.
Okay. Ravi, can you tell me about yourself and your project and what is your work experience in React?
This is Ashmi Ravi. I have completed some years of experience as a web developer. Coming to my skills, I have the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and Angular, a little bit of Angular. This is my overall experience. And coming to my recent company is Keynote Technologies, Bangalore. And coming to my recent project is a CVS Health. This is a health domain project. So in this project, I work as one of the UI developer. Um, so coming to roles and responsibility as a UI developer, I need to create the components, API integrations, and sales changes, and attending the agile Scrum meetings, all those things. These are all my roles and responsibilities. So this is a little brief about me.
Okay. How many years of experience do you have in React only?
The React is around 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. You are only a front-end developer or you know the back-end also?
I have some experience in backend in PHP.
PHP.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I can start with HTML, CSS. After that, move to JavaScript. After that, React and Redux.
Okay, sure.
What are the HTML5 features?
HTML file they choose the like symmetric elements like header, footer, section, nav, all those things, and they introduce some media elements, video, audio, and some new input elements like input type, date, type, email, type time picker, and also in HTML5 we have so many like we can use the SVG canvas things, and also we have some APIs they're using, and also they have some storage systems, local storage, session storage. So these are all about the new features in HTML5.
Okay. What is the difference between section and a div tag?
Div one section tag.
Yes.
Div is a normal the div elements let's say like a block element. Section is a set of the div elements, particular divs. So we can make a section. In the section is a HTML5 element. So if you want to divide the our pages like sliders, for example, we have the on HTML page. So for the carousel one is section, and middle we have the one gallery section. Middle we have some section. So we can divide the all up in sections page. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the use of doc type?
Document type specify the which type of HTML version it is using, and also we can specify the we can check the HTML standards also using the doc type. Yeah.
Okay. What is the DOM and how does the DOM works?
DOM is like a document object model. So all the HTML elements behaves like a object. It's like a DOM, it's a DOM object. So it's a very for every element is an object. This object is has some attributes, has the properties and values like this. And also for child elements, it's like the node elements, children's elements like that. It's like all the is like a DOM object.
How to make a page is responsive?
Using the media queries, I can make a page as a response. So like at the right media queries, based on the minimum width and maximum width of the device, we can make the page as give the specific styles for that to in that media section. The styles are applying, so then we will make the response design.
Okay. What are the APIs available in HTML5?
Geography API and WebSocket API. Some APIs are there. I have just tried, yeah, but I need if we get the chance, I'll work on it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What is the semantic elements can do?
Semantic elements it can use for the SEO recognitions also, and also for accessibility purpose also. These semantic tags will use.
Okay. What is the box model in CSS?
Box mod is like all the set of the block elements properties like margin, padding, width, height, all together both there, all together as a box model.
Okay. What is the difference between a flex layout and a grid layout?
Flex layout is like for a parent element we use the display flex. So this flex device the make the horizontally or horizontally, and we can align the vertically based on the flex direction. And grid is like it will put the all the elements in the like columns. It's like a row and it's columns. Good.
Okay. By using CSS, can we make a circle?
Yeah, using the actually transform text transform something else there, so we can do.
Okay. What is the difference between pseudo classes and pseudo elements?
So pseudo classes are based on the one selector, and for example, we have the paragraph elements with the specific class. So if you want to use such child properties for that one, then you use that element name dot select that class name. So based on the the size apply for the that particular element having the that class. Those are the pseudo classes. Pseudo elements are the one like some for example give the only paragraph elements, only HTML elements. This is the pseudo elements. So if you mention the tag name, that is the pseudo element. If you mention tag name with the class, that is the pseudo classes.
Okay. What is the difference between visibility hidden and display none?
So display none. If you give display none, the whole element will not visible, and also the space is not also not appear. But if you give the visibility hidden, the element is not appear, but the space is occupied.
Okay. What is purpose of Gedindex?
Genetics, for example, if two elements come one over the other, for example, if you give the position object that it makes a float on the page. Sometimes if the one element comes over the other, we cannot we cannot see the behind element. So in the z direction, if you want which element you want to see first, then you use the z direction value as high.
What is the I'm missing one. What is the use of keyframes?
Keyframes are used in the text transform animations, but this but from particular this time these keyframes are used as per my understanding.
Okay. Okay. What are the features of ES6?
In the ES6 we introduced like let to where constant, we have the arrow function, we have the destruction of the array and objects, and we have the spread out with the rest operator. These type of things are the ES6 features.
Okay. What is the difference between let, where, and const keywords?
Let where constant we use for declaring the variable. If we declare the variable using the constant, we cannot change it throughout the program. Only one thing we can assign the value, and also we can assign the value at the time of initialization only for the constant. Let and where we are using for both for using declaration of the variable. We can assign the value second time, not only in the initial time. And the later also we can assign the value and we can change the value for the where and let. But the difference between let and where is let is a local scope variable. For example, if you declare the variable in a block, you cannot use that variable outside the block. But where can use? So there is a global scope variable, let it is a local scope variable.
Okay. What is a hosting?
Which one?
Hosting.
Hosting. In the JavaScript, all the variable declarations and the functional declarations will move to the top of the file. So that's why if you assign a value before this declaration also it will work. This concept is called hosting.
Okay. What is the output of a var variable in hosting concept?
What is the output of?
Whenever we declaring a variable with a var keyword,
Okay.
what is the output in the hosting concept?
It will works. It will works.
It will display the answer.
Yeah, it will display the answer.
Okay. What is a temporal dead zone?
Temporal?
Dead zone.
I did not hear that one. I
Okay,
mean,
no
I hear,
problem.
but forget that one. Yeah.
Okay. What is the difference between normal function and arrow function?
Normal function is like just a function which has the function definition, when we use this keyword in the normal function, it takes the window reference. Okay, but in the arrow function, this refers to the current object only. That is the main difference for the normal function and arrow function.
Okay. What is the difference between a slice and a splice in array methods?
Slice will slice the particular array from one index to some particular index to particular index and give the remaining part. Slice is give the through a splice is give the from which part to how many elements. That is the splice.
Okay. What is the difference between map and for each methods?
Map and for each are used to both functions used to apply something on each element of the array. But map will return the new array and function for each not return anything.
Okay. What is the difference between double equals to and triple equals to?
Double equals is used for to check the value and to check the only value in both sides. But triple equal check the value at the same time data type of the element with both sides.
Okay. What is the output of type of string?
Type of string.
Yes.
Type of string use the string. It's a string. It's a string. Object I think. Type of strings give the string. That is also a word, so I think the string. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What are first order functions?
First other functions. I mean, yeah, as per first only the arguments. There is no optional arguments like that. I don't know.
Okay. What is a function curry?
Function curry is, for example, we have the one function. It will do the other function. It will do the other function. So it's a cycling of returning the function one by one. That is a curry function.
What are modules?
In Angular,
No, in JavaScript.
modules.
Yes.
In Angular, module is section of the particular components like that.
Okay. What are the storages there in JavaScript?
We have the local storage and then the session storage. So session storage works only when until the browser tab is open. When we close the tab or browser, the session is gone. But local session is not the local storage does not have the expiration time. Yeah.
Okay. What is the maximum storage of a local storage and session storage?
I mean, how much value?
How much data? Data.
I don't know. There is some limit, but I think so. No.
Okay. What is the closure?
So closures are like some inner function of a function which have the access the outer function available.
Okay. What is the lexical scope?
So the lexical scope is the inner function which has the scope of which has the access for the outer scope.
Okay. What is the event bubbling and event capture?
When we click on event, if that event is propagate from child to parent, that is event bubbling. If it's propagate from parent to child, that is the event capture.
Okay. How can we create a JSON file in JavaScript?
npm start or npm is start. Npm install, it will get a JSON file, I think. Package the
Okay.
JSON file. Yeah.
Okay. What is a polyfill?
Polyfill is used for the browser compatibility. For example, if you use some ES6 for the then you use the polyfill. Hello.
What is a weak set and a weak map?
Weak set and weak map.
Yeah.
No, I
What is async and await and promise?
Promise is like asynchronous operation JavaScript to call asynchronous operation. It has the coordinate function is on reject. But the promise is a asynchronous. If you make the asynchronous operation to the synchronous, we use the async and await. They use the async keyword with the async keyword before that promise, and in the return value use the await. This is async, await, and promise.
Okay. What is the destructuring?
If you want to convert the array elements into individual variables, and also if we convert the object key values into single key value variables, then we use this is called destruction of the arrays and objects.
Okay. What is the difference between a spread operator and rest operator?
A spread operator used to create the new to reset of the array or to create the new array, which is not to clone the new array or to create the new reset merging the arrays. Use the spread operator. Not only arrays but also object. For example, we have the let x equal to array 1 comma 2 comma 3. If we create the let y is equal to square brackets dot x, then we create the new array of new format of new array. Even if we change the x array, y is not changed. That is for the spread operator, rest operator. And spread operator, rest operator is used for to pass the n number of arguments to a function. We use the rest operator.
Okay. What is ternary operator?
Ternary operator is the question mark and colon. For example, if this condition works, question mark it will do. Otherwise, colon it will do. That's the ternary operator.
Okay. What is the difference between JavaScript and TypeScript?
TypeScript is superscript of the JavaScript. JavaScript can direct understand by the browser, but the TypeScript cannot understand by the browser. TypeScript we have all the classes and a new set of the features, new 6 features. TypeScript cannot directly understand by the browser, so we need to compile TypeScript into the JavaScript. Then only the browser can understand.
Okay. What are the features of React.js?
In React.js we have the components, components and API. We create different type of the components, single page applications using the React. So we have the states, props, all those things, state to props, lifecycle methods, all those things.
Okay. What is a virtual DOM?
Virtual DOM is a concept in the React. For example, to render a component, before rendering a component, what React will do is take the copy of the real DOM and paste the virtual in the memory virtual DOM. So if any changes happen, we again create the virtual DOM with the changes, and it will cross check the difference between the previous virtual DOM and latest virtual DOM. What are the nodes are changing? Only those node changes will apply to the real DOM. That's why this process is a reconciliation process. That's why the page becomes very fast.
Okay. What is the difference between functional component and class component?
Class components created using the class structure, class methods, properties based. So the functional components using like none of JavaScript stuff. Class components, it will have the render method to render a component view. Functional components it render one DOM particular view. So in the class component you have the lifecycle events, but the functional component is not that does not have the lifecycle events. This one.
Uh, what what are the life cycle methods?
We are the way the lifecycle method in two ways: mounting, unmounting, updating, unmounting. In mounting stage, we have the constructor, render, and component will mount. Component get the state from props. These are the four first in the mounting stage. In update stage, again we have the get state from props. Component will update. Component will update. So these are the things. And unmount component will unmount. These are the steps. Yeah.
In the place of life cycle methods, we are using hooks, right?
Yeah, in the functional component, use the use effect to achieve the this
Okay.
life cycle elements.
Can you explain with one example?
For example, if you use the use effect, actually use effect function takes the two arguments. One is the arrow function, second is the array. If you did not give the if you did not pass the second array, only for pass that call every time for every update will call. If you pass the second array as an empty array, it will call only at the initialization while for the first time of the initial rendering of the page. If you give the particular value in that array in the second array, when whatever dependency whatever given that value is changed, this user will call. So this is a dependency for the user. If you want to use achieve the unmounting, we will use the return function return values in the use effect method.
What are the error boundaries?
Error boundaries I mean we are mapping our component in the error boundary component. What happens if any error happens or while rendering of the component, that error will now redirect to the error component page. We are not showing that errors. Yeah.
Okay. What is the use of keys in React?
Use of
Keys.
for looping any elements, we need to give the keys for every while looping for every element, because to indexing the to looping for every element we use the keys.
Okay. What is the difference between state and props?
State are the local state values, local data of the component. We use the local state values, so we can directly change the state values. We use the state methods to updating the state values. Props are data which is coming from the outside.
Okay. What is the prop drilling?
If we want to pass from props from we have, for example, we have four components: A component, B component, C component, D component. If we pass the props from directly from A to D, we cannot pass. We need to pass from A to B, B to C, C to D. This is the props drilling concept.
Okay. How to avoid prop drilling?
Using the use context, we can avoid the prop drilling, or we can move to the child components into the parent components.
Okay. What is a Redux?
Redux is like a store management system. All our data of the application we are maintaining in the stores as a state objects. If you want to update the state or creating the state, or if you want to subscribe the data from stores from state, then we use the reducers. So for every dispatch action we call the reducers. We can do these things. These are all processes in Redux.
Okay. What is the difference between context API and Redux?
Context API, if you want to share the data between throughout the all applications, use the context API. If you want to maintain data in the store, and if you want to subscribe data from there, then use the Redux.
Okay. What is three principles of Redux?
Three principles is like dispatching the action, and calling the reducers updating the reducer states.
Okay.
Reducer, action, state. I think these are things.
Okay. Did you use any middlewares in Redux?
I use like trunk. I use Swag also some idea. Uh, I mean, trunk I use Swag also.
Okay. What is the difference between Thunk and Redux? Sorry, Thunk and Saga.
Trunk is used for calling every API call something. We use the after returning the something. We use the trunk. Swag is like middleware before accessing the API call. That is my understanding. But okay.
Okay. What is the higher order components?
If you want to pass a one component as a property of the other component, then is a higher other component.
Okay. What are the examples for higher order components?
Uh, Examples we if you pass the one component to the other component, like for example sweat higher the functions, higher the components. For example, you have the
Mhm.
comments list items. If you count list item, item is a one component. List is a other component. In the list, for the list we are passing the list item as a prop to the component, like that.
Okay. What is the difference between controlled components and uncontrolled components?
We are using the this for control and control concept in the form section. For example, if a form control value, I mean input text box values are based on the local state of that component, then those are the control components. Otherwise, those are the uncontrolled components.
Okay. What is a React router?
Reactor router is used for the routing navigation from one component to the other using the router concept.
Okay. Without React router, can we route from one component to another component?
So the router, I mean, based on the condition, we can show display like that. We can do.
Okay. What is the portals?
Portals used for something. I forget that one. I use React portals.
Okay.
Yeah, forget.
What are the fragments?
Fragment elements like, for example, every React component returning some view. So in a one single element as a parent element. If you use a div, it will take some space and some memory. If you use the frag element as the root element, it's like it not take any memories, any space. That is React fragments like open bracket, close bracket. There is no tag. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Ravi. My side is done. I will give your feedback to class. We will
Yeah.
contact you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah. Sharp, ఇది మొత్తం అడిగారు క్వశ్చన్స్